What's good, everyone? This is mjNichols from Internet Money, and today I'm going to be making a video showing you guys my current process for making beats. I'm going to explain why I do some things, why I don't do some things, and then at the end I'm going to show you guys how I structure my beats. I asked on Twitter and Instagram what you guys wanted me to do for my first video back. A bunch of you said how to structure a beat, so I kind of thought I'd show you the whole process that I go through from beginning to end, and hopefully you guys will pick up some things along the way. Before I get into it, if you guys have any future suggestions for tutorials down the line, let me know in the comments down below. With that being said, let's get into it. I'm going to be using a loop from my new loop kit called Avalon. It's up on Wave Supply now if you want to go grab it. There's a bunch of heat in here. I'm going to be using this one, Turo. Alright, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to start making this beat, and I'm going to stop every now and then and let you guys know my thought process for what's going on. Alright, so now we have pretty much 90% of the beat. Ever since I started making beats, I've always tried to make my beats more complex and add more, and recently I've realized I need to simplify my beats as much as possible. When you give your beat to an artist or a rapper, they still need to do their own thing to it. So if you clutter the beat with too much going on, either A, they won't really know how to go on the beat, or B, their voice won't fit on it. In general, less is more. So before I'd consider this, not really a beat, but now this is it. I mean, you don't really need much more else. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go back to my sequencer. I'm gonna click this arrow here and I'm gonna go to split by channel. And that way each individual sound is on its own pattern. So I'm gonna go to my pattern picker, just select them all, drag them in. And then now I'm gonna structure the beat. Generally what I do a 4-bar intro, 8-bar chorus, and then a 12-bar verse. And I'll explain why. Once I get that done, I'll explain the thought process of why I structure my beats like this. so what I'm gonna do now, I duplicated the melody here. I think I'm gonna have it for the second part of the chorus and then the last part of the verse. So now I'm gonna put everything on the mixer so I can start making changes. So I'm just gonna select everything on the sequencer here, right click the first channel in the mixer, go to File, channel routing, and then route, select the channel starting from this track. That'll put everything on the mixer nice and neat. So now I'm gonna go through and solo out everything and mix it. And the reason I'm stopping to do this right now is because I just made a duplicate of the melody, and I'm gonna switch up this one. I'm probably gonna pitch it an octave higher and then do some effects to it just to kind of add some ambiance to the beat. And in order to do that, I need to access the mixer and put a gross beat and different effects on it. So I'm gonna go through and mix it real quick. You guys can see kind of how I level everything in EQ, and then I'll pick it up from there. One thing I want to mention, when you're dealing with melodies and frequencies that are higher up, generally the higher the frequency, the wider you can go with the sound, to an extent. So the main melody here, I'm just going to leave that be, but for this higher melody, I separated the left and right channels just a little bit. You can see I'm going to leave probably like 41% separated right there. So the lower frequencies you want, like kick and 808s and bass, you want, for the most part, mono, just completely down the center. But as you go higher up in the frequencies, you can start widening the stereo field a little bit more. I think I'm gonna add some delay, just real subtle. I don't want this higher melody to be too obvious. I just want it to sit in the background and kind of make the beat a little bit more full when it comes in. And for the 808, I'm gonna add R bass. I used to use R bass a lot on all my 808s. Now, if I do use it, it's subtle, because if you listen to the 808, I'm gonna put it on the Big Bottoms preset, which I always use, and you'll hear it adds low into it, but it's too much by the default setting. So what I like to do, I'd like to bring the frequency probably like 50, and then drop the intensity probably to like 0.7. I know that's a really subtle difference. It's kind of hard to hear, but if you have your speakers cranked up when you're mixing a beat, you'll be able to hear it better on your end. So that's about it for the leveling and the EQ part. If something doesn't need to be EQ'd, I don't EQ it. I try to be really minimal with what I do to the sounds. I just want to pick good quality sounds to begin with that I know will hit hard. That way I don't have to do too much repair work later on in the mix. All right, last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my master chain on, get that all dialed in, and then when I'm done with that, I'll come back and explain the whole process of how I structure my beats. All right, I got the master chain all done. I'm gonna play it real quick so you can hear what the finished product sounds like, and then we'll get into the structuring part of the tutorial. All right, so like I said before, 4-bar intro, 8-bar chorus, and then a 12-bar verse. The reason I do this is because I used to have really long, like 8-bar intros. I don't do that anymore just because it drags on too long. You kind of, especially with how the way songs are now, you want a really short intro. You want to be able to get into the chorus or the first verse pretty quickly. After that, standard 8-bar chorus. For the first half, I don't have the kick and I took out the open hat. Just because the way I'm adding variety to my beats is just taking out different elements during different parts. So I'll play it real quick and you'll hear the first half of the chorus sounds kind of lighter compared to the second half where the kick comes in and the open hat comes in. So you can hear with this second melody that I added, not even a second melody, I just duplicated it and pitched it up, added some delay. That along with the kick and the open hat kind of fills in the beat more for the second part of the chorus. And then for the first part of the verse, I take out the kick, I take out the snare, and leave everything else. And the 808, take out the 808. So that kind of starts off the verse a little bit light, and then we go into the second part that pretty much has everything. And then for the last part of the verse, I take out the kick. So you can hear how there isn't a lot going on, but taking away certain elements and then adding them as the beat progresses adds variety to the beat, keeps things moving a little bit. And then the reason I don't have 16-bar verses is because once I get this whole section done, I just take everything and copy it over. So now if we take this part as the intro from before, but now it can act as the fourth part of the verse, or it can act as a bridge, or it can act as a pre-chorus, really whatever the artist or the rapper wants to do. I like doing this as opposed to just adding another 4 bars to the verse and then having the intro play again, or just go straight from the verse right into the chorus again, because with this minimalistic approach, there isn't much difference between the verse and the chorus in terms of what sounds are playing. So adding the space in between the verse and the chorus makes it feel like it's changing up. And then I copy it over for a third time, and then after the third chorus, take everything out, and then I'll either let the melody play for 4 bars, or I'll take like this part of the verse and then fade it out at the end, which I think that's what we're gonna do. So just create an automation clip for the master volume, move it over. And then I don't like it when songs and beats fade out perfectly on time. So I like to kind of go a little bit off from where a measure is ending. So then we go from the third chorus, fades out. And that's it. So that's basically the approach that I'm taking with all of my beats. I'm trying to do more with less, trying to add variety to the beat with structure as opposed to just adding more elements onto it. So I hope you guys found that helpful. If you guys have any questions about something I did in this video, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll try and get to each and every one of you. Like I said before, if you guys have any suggestions for future tutorials, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one.